There my eyes beheld a deep valley, and wide was its entrance. All who dwell on land, on the sea, and in islands shall bring it gifts, presents, and offerings. Yet that deep valley shall not be full. Their hands shall commit iniquity. Whatsoever they produce by labor, the sinners shall devour with crime. But they shall perish from the face of Yahweh Tsevaot, and from the face of his earth. They shall stand up and shall perish forever and ever. I beheld the angels of punishment, who were dwelling there, and preparing every instrument of Satan. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, for whom those instruments were preparing. He said, These they are preparing for the kings and powerful ones of the earth, that thus they may perish. After which the righteous and chosen house of his assembly shall appear, and thenceforward unchangeable in the name of Yahweh Tsevaot. Nor shall those mountains exist in his presence, as the earth and the hills, as the fountains of water exist. And the righteous shall be relieved from the vexation of sinners. Then I looked and turned myself to another part of the earth, where I beheld a deep valley, burning with fire. To this valley they brought monarchs and the mighty, and there my eyes beheld the instruments which they were making, fetters of iron and immeasurable weight. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, saying, For whom are these fetters and instruments prepared? He replied, These are prepared for the host of Azazel, that they may be delivered over and adjudged to the lowest condemnation, and that their angels may be overwhelmed with hurled stones, as Yahweh Tsevaot has commanded. Michael and Gavriel, Raphael and Penuel shall be strengthened in that day, and shall then cast them into a furnace of blazing fire, that Yahweh Tsevaot may be avenged of them for their crimes, because they became ministers of Satan, and seduced those who dwell upon the earth. In those days shall punishment go forth from Yahweh Tsevaot, and the receptacles of water which are above the heavens shall be opened, and the fountains likewise which are under the heavens and under the earth. All the waters which are in the heavens and above them shall be mixed together. The water which is above heaven shall be the male, and the water which is under the earth shall be the female, and all shall be destroyed who dwell upon the earth, and who dwell under the extremities of heaven. By these means shall they understand the iniquity which they have committed on earth, and by these means shall they perish. Afterwards the Ancient of Days sighed and said, In vain have I destroyed all the inhabitants of the earth. And he swore by his great name, Henceforward I will not act thus towards all those who dwell upon the earth, but I will place a sign in the heavens, and it shall be a faithful witness between me and them forever, as long as the days of heaven and earth last upon the earth. Afterwards, according to this my decree, when I shall be disposed to seize them beforehand, by the instrumentality of angels, in the day of affliction and trouble, my wrath and my punishment shall remain upon them. My punishment and my wrath, says Elohim Yahweh Tsevaot. O you kings, O you mighty, who inhabit the world, You shall behold my elect one, sitting upon the throne of my glory, and he shall judge Azazel, all his associates, and all his hosts, in the name of Yahweh Tsevaot. There likewise I beheld hosts of angels, who were moving in punishment, confined in a network of iron and brass. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, to whom those under confinement were going. He said, to each of their elect and their beloved, that they may be cast into the fountains and deep recesses of the valley. And that valley shall be filled with their elect and beloved, the days of whose life shall be consumed, but the days of their error shall be innumerable. Then shall angels combine together and conspire. The chiefs of the east among the Parthians and the Medes shall remove kings in whom a ruach of perturbation shall enter. They shall hurl them from their thrones, springing as lions from their dens, and like famished wolves into the midst of the flock. They shall go up and tread upon the land of their elect. The land of their elect shall be before them, the threshing floor, the path, and the city of my righteous shall impede their horses. They shall rise up to destroy each other. Their right hand shall be strengthened, nor shall a man acknowledge his friend or his brother, nor the son his father and his mother, until the number of the dead bodies in their death and punishment. Neither shall this take place without cause. In those days shall the mouth of Sheol be opened, into which they shall be immerged. Sheol shall destroy and swallow up sinners from the face of the elect. After this I beheld another army of chariots with men riding in them. And they came upon the wind from the east, from the west, and from the south. The sound of the noise of their chariots was heard. And when the agitation took place, the Kodashim out of heaven perceived it. The pillar of the earth shook from its foundation, and the sound was heard from the extremities of the earth unto the extremities of heaven at the same time. Then they all fell down and worshipped Yahweh Tsevaot. This is the end of the second parable. I now begin to utter the third parable concerning the Kodashim and the elect. Blessed are you, O Kodashim, the elect, for glorious is your lot. The Kodashim shall exist in the light of the sun, and the elect in the light of the everlasting life, the days of whose life shall never terminate, nor shall the days of the Kodashim be numbered, who seek for light and obtain righteousness with Yahweh Tsevaot. Peace be to the Kodashim with Yahweh of the world. Henceforward shall the Kodashim be told to seek in heaven the secrets of righteousness, the portion of belief. For like the sun has it arisen upon the earth, while darkness has passed away. There shall be light interminable, nor shall they enter upon the enumeration of time. For darkness shall be previously destroyed, and light shall increase before Yahweh Tsevaot. Before Yahweh Tsevaot shall the light of uprightness increase forever. In those days my eyes beheld the secrets of the lightnings, and the splendors and the judgment belonging to them. They lighten for a blessing and for a curse, according to the will of Yahweh Tsevaot. And there I saw the secrets of the thunder, when it rattles above in heaven, and its sound is heard. The habitations also of the earth were shown to me. The sound of the thunders for peace and for blessing, as well as for a curse, according to the word of Yahweh Tsevaot. Afterwards, every secret of the splendors and of the lightnings was seen by me. For blessing and for fertility they lighten. In the 500th year, and in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month, of the lifetime of Shinnok, in that parable I saw that the heaven of heavens shook, that it shook violently, and that the powers of Al Elyon and the angels, thousands and thousands and myriads of myriads, were agitated with great agitation. And when I looked, the Ancient of Days was sitting on the throne of his glory, while the angels and Kodashim were standing around him. A great trembling came upon me, and terror seized me. My loins were bowed down and loosened. My mind was dissolved, and I fell upon my face. The holy Michael, another holy angel, one of the holy ones, was sent, who raised me up. And when he raised me, my ruach returned, for I was incapable of enduring the vision of violence, its agitation, and the concussion of heaven. Then holy Michael said to me, "Why are you disturbed at this vision? Hitherto has existed the day of mercy, and has been merciful and long-suffering towards all who dwell upon the earth. But when the time shall come, then the power, the punishment, and the judgment, which Yahweh Tsevaot has prepared for those who prostrate themselves to the judgment of righteousness, for those who abjure that judgment, and for those who take his name in vain. That day has been prepared for the elect as a covenant, and for sinners as an inquisition. In that day shall be distributed for food 2 monsters, a female monster whose name is Leviathan, dwelling in the depths of the sea, above the springs of waters, and a male monster whose name is Behemoth, which possesses on his breast the invisible wilderness. His name was Dendian in the east of the garden, where the elect and the righteous will dwell, where he received it from my ancestor, who was man, from Adam, the first of men, whom Yahweh Tsevaot made. Then I asked of another angel to show me the power of those monsters, how they became separated on the same day, one in the depths of the sea and one in the dry desert. And he said, "You, son of Adam, are here desirous of understanding secret things." And the angel of peace, who was with me, said, "These 2 monsters are by the power of Elohim prepared to become food, that the punishment of Elohim may not be in vain. Then shall children be slain with their mothers, and sons with their fathers. And when the punishment of Yahweh Tsevaot shall continue, upon them shall it continue, that the punishment of Yahweh Tsevaot may not take place in vain. After that, judgment shall exist with mercy, and love me how the Ruachot were divided. how they were balanced, and how both the springs and the winds were numbered according to the force of their ruach. He showed me the power of the moon's light, that its power is a just one, as well as the divisions of the stars, according to their respective names. Every division is divided, that the lightning flashes, that its troops immediately obey, and that a cessation takes place during thunder in continuance of its sound. Nor are the thunder and the lightning separated, neither do both of them move with one ruach, yet they are not separated. For when the lightning lightens, the thunder sounds, and the ruach at a proper period pauses, making an equal division between them. For the receptacle upon which their periods depend is as sand. Each of them at a proper season is restrained with a bridle and turned by the power of the ruach, which thus propels according to the spacious extent of the earth. The ruach likewise of the sea is potent and strong, and as a strong power causes it to ebb, so is it driven forwards and scattered against the mountains of the earth. The ruach of the frost has its angel, and in the ruach of hail there is a good angel. The ruach of snow ceases in its strength, and a solitary ruach is in it, which ascends from it like vapor, and is called refrigeration. The ruach also of mist dwells with them in their receptacle, but it has a receptacle to itself, for it progresses is in splendor, in light and in darkness, in winter and in summer. Its receptacle is bright, and it is an angel. The abode of the ruach of dew is in the extremities of heaven, in connection with the receptacle of rain, and its progress is in winter and in summer. The cloud produced by it and the cloud of the mist become united. One gives to the other, and when the ruach of rain is in motion from its receptacle, angels come, and opening its receptacle, bring it forth. When likewise it is sprinkled over all the earth, it forms a union with every kind of water on the ground. For the water remain on the ground as nourishment to the earth from El Elyon, who is in heaven. Upon this account, therefore, there is a regulation in the quantity of rain, which the angels receive. These things I saw, all of them, even paradise. In those days I beheld long ropes given to those angels who took their wings and fled, advancing toward the north. And I inquired of the angels, saying, Wherefore have they taken those long ropes and gone forth? He said, They are gone forth to measure. The angel who proceeded with me said, These are the measures of the righteous, and cords shall be righteous bring. They shall may trust in the name of Yahweh Tsevaot, forever and forever. The elect shall begin to dwell with the elect, and these are the measures which shall be given to belief, and shall strengthen the words of the righteousness. The measures shall reveal all the secrets in the depth of the earth, and those who have been destroyed in the desert, and who have been devoured by the fish of the sea, and by the wild beasts, shall return, and trust in the day of the elect one. For none shall perish in the presence capable of perishing. Then they received the commandment, all in the heavens above, to whom a combined power, voice, and splendor, like fire, were given. And first, with voice, they blessed him. They exalted him, they glorified him with wisdom, and ascribed to him wisdom with the word, and with the breath of life. Then Yahweh Tsevaot seated upon the throne of his glory the elect one, who shall judge all the works of the holy. In the heaven above, and in a balance shall he weigh their actions. And when he shall lift up his countenance to judge their secret ways, in the word of the name of Yahweh Tsevaot, and their progress in the path of the righteous judgment of El Elyon, they shall all speak with united voice, and bless, glorify, exalt, and praise in the name of Yahweh Tsevaot. He shall call to every power of the heavens, to all the holy above, and to the power of Elohim. The cherubim, the sepharim, and the ophanim, all the angels of power, and all the angels of Yahweh, namely of the elect one, and of the other power, who was upon the earth over the water that day, shall raise their united voice, shall bless, glorify, praise, and exalt with the ruach of imunah, with the ruach of chokmah, and netzach, with the ruach sheked, with the ruach mishpat, and shalom, and with the ruach ratzon. All shall say with united voice, Blessed is he, and the name of Yahweh Tsevaot shall be blessed for ever and ever. All who sleep not shall bless it in heaven above. All the holy in heaven shall bless it. All the elect who dwell in the garden of life, and every ruach of light, who is capable of blessing, glorifying, exalting, and praising your holy name. And all flesh, more than the powers, shall glorify and bless your name forever and ever. For great is the mercy of Yahweh Tsevaot. Long-suffering is he, and all his works, all his power, great as are the things which he has done, has he revealed to the Kodashim and to the elect in the name of Yahweh Tsevaot. Thus Yahweh commanded the kings, the princes, the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, saying, Open your eyes and lift up your horns, if you are capable of comprehending the elect one. Yahweh Tsevaot sat upon the throne of his glory, and the Ruach Tzedakah was poured out over him. The word of his mouth shall destroy all the sinners and all the wicked, who shall perish at his presence. In that day shall all the kings, the princes, the exalted, and those who possess the earth stand up, behold, and perceive that he is sitting on the throne of his glory, that before him the Kodashim shall be judged in righteousness, and that nothing which shall be spoken before him shall be in vain. Trouble shall come upon them, as upon a woman in travail, whose labor is severe, when her child comes to the mouth of the womb, and she finds it difficult to bring forth. One portion of them shall look upon another. They shall be astonished, and shall humble their countenance. And trouble shall seize them, when they shall behold this son of Adam sitting upon the throne of his glory. Then shall the kings and the princes and all who possess the earth glorify him who has dominion over all things, him who was concealed. For from the beginning the son of Adam existed in secret, which El Elyon preserved in the presence of his power, and revealed to the elect. He shall sow the assembly of the Kodashim and of the elect, and all the elect shall stand before him in that day. All the kings, the princes, the exalted, and those who rule over all the earth shall fall down on their faces before him and shall worship him. They shall fix their hopes on this son of Adam, shall pray to him and petition him for mercy. Then shall Yahweh Tsevaot hasten to expel them from his presence. Their faces shall be full of confusion, and their faces shall darkness cover. The angels shall take them to punishment, that vengeance may be inflicted on those who have oppressed his children and his elect. And they shall become an example to the Kodashim and to his elect. Through them shall these be made joyful, for the anger of Yahweh Tsevaot shall rest upon them. Then the sword of Yahweh Tsevaot shall be drunk with their blood, but the Kodashim and the elect shall be safe in that day, nor the face of the sinners and the wicked shall they thenceforthwards behold. Yahweh Tsevaot shall remain over them, and with the son of Adam shall they dwell, eat, lie down, and rise up, for ever and ever. The Kodashim and the elect have arisen from the earth, have left off to depress their countenances, and have been clothed with the garment of life. That garment of life is with Yahweh Tsevaot, in whose presence your garment shall not wax old, nor shall your glory diminish. In those days the kings who possess the earth shall be punished by the angels of his wrath, wheresoever they shall be delivered up, that he may give rest for a short period, and that they may fall down and worship before Yahweh Tsevaot, confessing their sins before him. They shall bless and glorify Yahweh Tsevaot, saying, Blessed is Yahweh Tsevaot, Yahweh of kings, Yahweh of princes, Yahweh of the rich, Yahweh of glory, and Yahweh of wisdom. He shall enlighten every secret thing. Your power is from generation to generation, and your glory forever and ever. Deep are all your secrets, and numberless, and your righteousness cannot be calculated. Now we know that we should glorify and bless Yahweh of kings, him who is king over all things. They shall also say, Who has granted us rest to glorify? Lord, bless and confess in the presence of his glory. And now small is the rest we desire, but we do not find. We reject and do not possess. Light has passed away from before us, and darkness our thrones forever. For we have not confessed before him, we have not glorified the name of Yahweh of kings. We have not glorified Yahweh in all his works, but we have trusted in the scepter of our dominion and of our glory. In the day of our suffering and of our trouble, he will not save us, neither shall we find rest. We confess that our Adonai is faithful in all his works, in all his judgments, and in his righteousness. In his judgments he pays no respect to persons, and we must depart from his presence on account of our deeds. All our sins are truly without number. Then shall they say to themselves, Our souls are satiated with the instruments of crime. But that prevents us not from descending to the flaming womb of Sheol. Afterwards, their countenances shall be filled with darkness and confusion before the son of Adam, from whose presence they shall be expelled. and before whom the sword shall remain to expel them. Thus says Yahweh Tsevaot, this is the decree and the judgment against the princes, the kings, the exalted, and those who possess the earth, in the presence of Yahweh Tsevaot. I saw also other countenances in that secret place. I heard the voice of an angel saying, these are the angels who have descended from heaven to earth, and have revealed secrets to the sons of men, and have seduced the sons of men to the commission of sin. In those days Noah saw that the earth became inclined, and that destruction approached. Then he lifted up his feet and went to the ends of the earth, to the dwelling of his great-grandfather Shinnok. And Noah cried with a bitter voice, hear me, hear me, hear me, 3 times. And he said, tell me what is transacting upon the earth, for the earth labors and is violently shaken. Surely I shall perish with it. After this there was great perturbation on earth, and a voice was heard from heaven. I fell down on my face when my great-grandfather Shinnok came and stood by me. He said to me, why have you cried out to me with a bitter cry and lamentation? A commandment has gone forth from Yahweh against those who dwell in the earth, that they may be destroyed. For they know every secret of the angels, every oppressive and secret power of the devils, and every power of those who commit sorcery, as well as of those who make molten in the whole earth. How is silver produced from the dust of the earth? And how on the earth does the drop exist? For lead and tin are not produced from earth, as the primary foundation of their production. There is an angel standing upon it, and that angel struggles to prevail. Afterwards my great-grandfather Shinnok seized me with his hand, raising me up and saying to me, go, for I have asked Yahweh Tsevaot respecting this perturbation of the earth, who replied, on account of their impiety have their innumerable judgments been consummated before me. Because of the sorceries which they have searched out and learned, the earth and those who dwell upon it will be destroyed, and that to these there will be no refuge forever. They have discovered secrets, those who have been judged, but not you, my son. Yahweh Tsevaot knows that you are pure and good from the reproach of secrets. He, the Holy One, will establish your name in the midst of the Kodashim, and will guard you from those who dwell upon the earth. He will establish your seed in righteousness, for kings and for great glory, and from your seed shall spring forth righteousness and holy men without number forever. After this he showed me the angels of punishment, who were prepared to come and to open all the mighty waters under the earth, that they may be for judgment and for the destruction of all those who remain and dwell upon the earth. And Yahweh Tsevaot commanded the angels who went forth not to take up and guard the men, for those angels are over all the mighty waters. Then I went out from the presence of Shinnok. In those days the word of Elohim came to me and said, Noah, behold, your lot has ascended up to me, a lot void of crime, a lot beloved and upright. Now then, the angels are making a wooden structure, but when they proceed to this, I will put my hand upon it and guard it. The seed of life shall arise from it, and a change shall take place, that the dry land shall not be left empty. I will establish your seed before me forever and forever, and the seed of those who dwell with you on the surface of the earth. It shall be blessed and multiplied in the presence of the earth, in the name of Yahweh. And they shall confine these angels who disclosed impiety in that burning valley which at first my grandfather Shinnok showed me in the west, where there were mountains of gold and silver, and iron, of fluid metal, and of tin. I beheld that valley in which there were great perturbation, and the waters were troubled. And when all this was affected, from the fluid mass of fire, and the trouble them in that place, there arose a strong smell of sulphur, which became mixed with the waters, and the valley of the angels, who had been guilty of seduction, burned underneath its soil. Through that valley also rivers of fire were flowing, to which those angels shall be condemned, who seduced the inhabitants of the earth. And in those days shall these waters be to kings, to princes, to the exalted, and to the inhabitants of the earth, for the healing of the soul and the body, and for the judgment of the Ruach. Their Ruachot shall be full of lust, that they may be judged in their bodies, because they have denied Yahweh Tsevaot, and they perceive their condemnation day by day. They believe not in his name. And as the inflammation of their bodies shall be great, so shall their Ruachot undergo a change forever. For no word which is uttered before Yahweh Tsevaot shall be in vain. Judgment has come upon them, because they trusted in their carnal revelry and denied Yahweh Tsevaot. In those days shall the waters of that valley be changed. For when the angels shall be judged, then shall the heat of those springs of water experience an alteration. And when the angels shall ascend, the water of the springs shall again undergo a change and be frozen. Then I heard holy Michael answering and saying, This judgment, with which the angels shall be judged, shall bear testimony against the kings, the princes, and those who possess the earth. For these waters of judgment shall be for their healing, and for the death of their bodies. But they shall not perceive and believe that the waters will be changed, and become a fire which shall blaze for evermore. After this he gave me the characteristical marks of all the secret things in the Sefer of my great-grandfather Shinnok, and in the parables which had been given to him, inserting them for me among the words of the Sefer of parables. At that time holy Michael answered and said to Raphael, The power of the Ruach hurries me away and impels me on. The severity of the judgment, of the secret judgment of the angels, who is capable of endurance of that severe judgment, which has taken place and been made permanent without being melted, at the sight of it, again holy Michael answered and said to holy Raphael, Who is there whose heart is not softened by it, and whose mind is not troubled at this thing? Judgment has gone forth against them by those who have thus dragged them away, and that was when they stood in the presence of Yahweh Tsevaot. In like manner also, holy Raphael said to Raphael, They shall not be before the eye of Yahweh, since Yahweh Tsevaot has been offended with them, for like Adonim, they have conducted themselves. Therefore will he bring upon them a secret judgment for ever and ever. For neither shall angel nor man receive a portion of it, but they alone shall receive their own judgment forever and ever. After this judgment they shall be astonished and irritated, for it shall be exhibited to the inhabitants of the earth. Behold, the names of those angels, these are their names. The first of them is Shemiyaza, the second, Arstikapha, the third, Armin, the fourth, Kakabaal, the fifth, Turiel, the sixth, Rumiel, the seventh, Danyaal, the eighth, Kaal, the ninth, Barakal, the 10th, Azazel, the 11th, Armes, the 12th, Atariel, the 13th, Basasael, the 14th, Ananel, the 15th, Turiel, the 16th, Simapisiel, the 17th, Yetariel, the 18th, Tumaal, the 19th, Taral, the 20th, Rumal, the 21st, Azaziel. These are the chiefs of their angels, and the names of the leaders of their hundreds, and the leaders of their 50s, and the leaders of their 10s. The name of the first is Yakun. It was he who seduced all the sons of the holy angels, and causing them to descend on earth, led astray the offspring of men. The name of the second is Kesab'al, who pointed out evil counsel to the sons of the holy angels and induced them to corrupt their bodies by generating mankind. The name of the third is Gadrel. He discovered every stroke of death to the children of men. He seduced Shua, and discovered to the children of men the instruments of death, the coat of mail, the shield, and the sword for slaughter, every instrument of death to the children of men. From this hand were derived to them who dwell upon the earth, from that period forever. The name of the fourth is Penemua. He discovered to the children of men bitterness and sweetness, and pointed out to them every secret of their wisdom. He taught men to understand writing, and ink, and paper. Therefore, numerous have been those who have gone astray from every period of the world, even to this day. For men were not born for this, thus with pen and with ink to confirm their belief, since they were not created except that, like the angels, they might remain righteous and pure. Nor would death, which destroys everything, have affected them. But by this their knowledge they perish, and by this also power consumes. The name of the fifth is Kas Yadi. He discovered to the children of men every wicked stroke of the Ruachot and of devils, the stroke to the embryo in the womb, to diminish it, the stroke to the Ruach by the bite of the serpent, and the midday stroke of the offspring of the serpent, the name of which is Taba'et. This is the number of Kasbiel, the principal part of the oath which Elohim, dwelling in glory, revealed to the holy ones. Its name is Bika. He spoke to holy Michael to discover to them the sacred name, that they might understand that secret name, and thus remember the oath, and that those who pointed out every secret thing to the children of men might tremble at that name and at that oath. This is the power of that oath, for powerful it is and strong. And he established this oath of Akai by the instrumentality of the holy Michael. These are the secrets of that oath, and by it were they confirmed. Heaven was suspended by it before the world was made, forever. By it has the earth been founded upon the flood, while from the concealed parts of the hills the agitated waters proceed forth from creation to the end of the world. By this oath the sea has been formed, and the foundation of it. During the period of its fury, he established the sand against it, which continues unchanged forever. And by this oath the abyss has been made strong, nor is it removable from its station forever and ever. By this oath the sun and moon complete their progress, never swerving from the command to them forever and ever. By this oath the stars complete their progress, and when their names are called, they return an answer forever and ever. Thus the heavens have the blowing of the winds, all of them have ruachot, and are a complete combination of breathings. There the treasures of thunder are kept, and the splendor of the lightning. There are kept the treasures of hail and of frost, the treasures of snow, the treasures of rain and of dew. All these confess and laud before Yahweh Tsevaot. They glorify with all their power of praise, and he sustains them in all thanksgiving, while they laud, glorify, and exalt the name of Yahweh Tsevaot forever and ever. And with them he establishes this oath, by which they and their paths are preserved, nor does their progress perish. Great was their joy. They blessed, glorified, and exalted, because the name of the Son of Adam was revealed to them. He sat upon the throne of his glory, and the principal part of the judgment was assigned to him, the Son of Adam. Sinners shall disappear and perish from the face of the earth, while those who seduced them shall be bound with chains forever. According to their ranks of corruption shall they be imprisoned, and all their works shall disappear from the face of the earth, nor thenceforward shall there be any to corrupt, for the Son of Adam has been seen sitting on the throne of his glory. Everything wicked shall disappear and depart from before his face, and the word of the Son of Adam shall become powerful in the presence of Yahweh Tsevaot. This is the third parable of Shinnok. After this, the name of the Son of Adam, living with Yahweh Tsevaot, was exalted by the inhabitations of the earth. It was exalted in the chariots of the Ruach, and the name went forth in the midst of them. From that time I was not drawn into the midst of them, but he seated me between two Ruachot, between the north and the west, where the angels received their ropes, to measure out a place for the elect and the righteous. There I beheld the fathers of the first men and the Koreshim, who dwell in that place forever. Afterward my Ruach was concealed, ascending into the heavens. I beheld the sons of the holy angels treading on flaming fire, whose garments and robes were white, and whose countenances were transparent as crystal. I saw two rivers of fire glittering like the hyacinth. Then I fell on my face before Yahweh Tsevaot, and McIntyre, one of the archangels, took me by my right hand, raised me up, and brought me out where was every secret mercy and secret righteousness. He showed me all the hidden things of the extremities of heaven, all the receptacles of the stars, and the splendors of all. from whence they went forth before the face of the Holy, and he concealed the Ruach of Shanok in the heaven of heavens. There I beheld in the midst of that light a building raised with stones of ice, and in the midst of these stones tongues of living fire. My Ruach saw around the circle of this flaming habitation, on one of its extremities, rivers full of living fire, which encompassed it. Then the seraphim, the keruvarim, the ophanim, surrounded it. These are those who never sleep, but watch the throne of his glory. And I beheld angels, innumerable, thousands of thousands, and myriads, who surrounded that habitation. Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Penuel, and the holy angels who were in the heavens above went in and out of it. Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel went out of that habitation, and holy angels innumerable. With them was the Ancient of Days, whose head was white as wool, and pure, and his robe was indescribable. Then I fell upon my face, while all my flesh was dissolved, and my ruach became changed. I cried out with a loud voice, with a powerful ruach, blessing, glorifying, and exalting. And those blessings which proceeded from my mouth became acceptable in the presence of the Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Days came with Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Penuel, with thousands of thousands and myriads, which could not be numbered. Then that angel came to me, and with his voice saluted me, saying, You are the son of Adam, who is born for righteousness, and righteousness has rested upon you. The righteousness of the Ancient of Days shall not forsake you. He said, On you shall he confer peace in the name of the existing world. For from thence has peace gone forth since the world was created, and thus shall it happen to you for ever and ever. All who shall exist and who shall walk in your path of righteousness shall not forsake you forever. With you shall be their habitations, with you their lot, nor from you shall they be separated forever and ever. And thus shall length of days be with the son of Adam. Peace shall be to the righteous, and the path of integrity shall the righteous pursue, in the name of Yahweh Tsevaot, forever and ever. The sefer of the revolutions of the luminaries of heaven, according to their respective classes, their respective powers, their respective periods, their respective names, the places where they commence their progress, and their respective months, which Uriel, the holy angel, who was with me, explained to me, he who conducted them, the whole account of them, according to every year of the world forever, until a new work shall be effected, which will be eternal. This is the first law of the luminaries. The sun and the light arrive at the gates of heaven, which are on the east and on the west of it, at the western gates of heaven. I beheld the gates when the sun goes forth, and the gates where the sun sets, in which gates also the moon rises and sets, and the conductors of the stars, among those who precede them, 6 at the rising and 6 at the setting of the sun. All these respectively, one after another, are on a level, and numerous windows are on the right and on the left sides of those gates. First proceeds forth that great luminary, which is called the sun, the orb of which is as the orb of heaven, the whole of it being replete with splendid and flaming fire. Its chariot, where it ascends, the wind blows. The sun sets in heaven, and returning by the north, to proceed towards the east, is conducted so as to enter by that gate and illuminate the face of heaven. In the same manner, it goes forth in the first month by the great gate. It goes forth through the fourth of those 6 gates which are at the rising of the sun. And in the fourth gate, from which the sun rises, in the first month, there are 12 open windows, from which issues out a flame, when they are opened in their proper periods. When the sun rises in heaven, it goes forth through this fourth gate 30 days, and by the fourth gate, in the west of heaven, on a level with it descends. During that period, the day is lengthened from the day, and the night curtailed from the night for 30 days. And then the day is longer by 2 parts than the night. The day is precisely 10 parts, and the night is 8. The sun goes forth through this fourth gate, and sets in it, and turns to the fifth gate during 30 days, after which it proceeds from and sets in the fifth gate. Then the day becomes lengthened by a second portion, so that it is 11 parts, while the night becomes shortened and is only 7 parts. The sun now returns to the east, entering into the 6th gate, and rising and setting in the 6th gate 31 days, on account of its signs. At that period, the day is longer than the night, being twice the night, and become 12 parts, but the night is shortened and becomes 6 parts. Then the sun rises up, that the day may be shortened, and the night lengthened. And the sun returns toward the east, entering into the 6th gate, where it rises and sets for 30 days. When that period is complete, the day becomes shortened precisely 1 part, so that it is 11 parts, while the night is 7 parts. Then the sun goes from the west, from that 6th gate, and proceeds eastward, rising in the 5th gate, for 30 days, and setting again westwards in the 5th gate of the west. At that period, the day becomes shortened 2 parts, and is 10 parts, while the night is 8 parts. Then the sun goes from the 5th gate, as it sets in the 5th gate of the west, and rises in the 4th gate for 31 days, on account of its signs, setting in the west. At that period, the day is made equal with the night, and being equal with it, the night becomes 9 parts, and the day 9 parts. Then the sun goes from that gate as it sets in the west, and returning to the east, proceeds by the 3rd gate for 30 days, setting in the west at the 3rd gate. At that period, the night is lengthened from the day during 30 mornings, and the day is curtailed from the day during 30 days, the night being 10 parts precisely, and the day 8 parts. The sun now goes from the 3rd gate, as it sets in the 3rd gate, in the west, but returning to the east, it proceeds by the 2nd gate of the east for 30 days. In like manner, also, it sets in the 2nd gate in the west of heaven. At that period, the night is 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. Then the sun goes at that time from the 2nd gate, as it sets in the 2nd gate in the west, but returns to the east, proceeding by the 1st gate, for 31 days, and sets in the west in the 1st gate, At that period, the night is lengthened as much again as the day. It is 12 parts precisely, while the day is 6 parts. The sun has completed its beginnings, and a second time goes round from these beginnings. Into that gate it enters for 30 days and sets in the west, in the opposite part. At that period the night is contracted in its length a 4th part, that is, 1 portion, and becomes 11 parts. The day is 7 parts. Then the sun returns and enters into the second gate of the east. It returns by these beginnings 30 days, rising and setting. At that period, the night is contracted in its length. It becomes 10 parts, and the day 8 parts. Then the sun goes from that second gate and sets in the west, but returns to the east, and rises in the east in the third gate, 31 days, setting in the west of heaven. At that period the night becomes shortened. It is 9 parts, and the night is equal with the day. The year is precisely 364 days. The lengthening of the day and the night, and the contraction of the day and the night, are made to differ from each other by the progress of the sun. By means of this progress, the day is daily lengthened, and the night greatly shortened. This is the law and the progress of the sun, and its turning when it turns back, turning during 60 days and going forth. This is the great everlasting luminary, that which he names the sun for ever and ever. This also is that which goes forth as a great luminary, and which is named after its peculiar kind, as Elohim commanded. And thus it goes in and out, neither slackening nor resting, but running on in its chariot by day and by night. Its light is 7 times brighter than that of the moon, but the dimensions of both are equal. After this law I beheld another law of an inferior luminary, the name of which is the moon, and the orb of which is the orb of heaven. Its chariot secretly ascends, the wind blows, and light is given to it by measure. Every month, at its existent entrance, it becomes changed, and its periods are as the periods of the sun. And when the moon is full, its light is a 7th portion from the light of the sun. Thus it rises, and at its commencement towards the east, goes forth for 30 days. At that time it appears and becomes to you the beginning of the month. 30 days with the sun in the gate from which the sun goes forth. Half of it is in extent 7 portions, 1, and the whole of it, its orb is void of light, except a 7th portion out of the 14th portions of its light. And in a day it receives a 7th portion, or half of its light. Its light is by 7s, by 1 portion, and by the half. It sets with the sun. And when the sun rises, the moon rises with it, receiving half a portion of light. On that night, when it commences its period, previously to the day of the month, the moon sets with the sun. And on that night it is dark, 14 portions, that is, half. But it rises on that day with 1/7 portion precisely, and in its progress declines from the rising of the sun. During the remainder of its period, its light increases to 14 portions. Then I saw another progress and regulation which he effected in the law of the moon. the progress of the moons and everything Uriel showed me, the holy angel who conducted them all. Their stations I wrote down as he showed them to me. I wrote down their months as they occur and the appearance of their light, until it is completed in 15 days. In each of its 7 portions, it completes all its light at rising and at setting. On stated months, it changes settings, and on stated months, it makes its progress on each. In 2, the moon sets with the sun, in those 2 gates which are in the midst, in the 3rd and 4th gate. It goes forth for 7 days and makes its circuit. Again it returns to the gate whence the sun goes forth, and in that completes the whole of its light. Then it declines from the sun and enters in 8 days into the 6th gate, from which the sun goes forth. When the sun proceeds to the 4th gate, it goes forth for 7 days, until it passes from the 5th. Again it returns in 7 days to the 4th gate, and completing all its light, declines and passes on by the 1st gate in 8 days, and returns in 7 days to the 4th gate, from which the sun goes forth. Thus I beheld their stations, as according to the fixed order of the months, the sun rises and sets. At those times there is an excess of 30 days belonging to the sun in 5 years. All the days belonging to each year of the 5 years, when completed, amount to 364 days, and to the sun and stars belong 6 days, 6 days in each of the 5 years, 30 days belonging to them, so that the moon has 30 days less than the sun and stars. The moon brings on all the years exactly, that their stations may come neither 2 forwards nor 2 backwards a single day, but that the years may be changed with correct precision in 364 days. In 3 years the days are 1,092. In 5 years they are 1,820, and in 8 years 2,912 days. To the moon alone belong in 3 years 1,062 days. In 5 years it has 50 days less, for an addition being made to the 62 days, in 5 years there are 1,770 days, and the days of the moon in 8 years are 2,832 days. For its days in 8 years are less 80 days, which 80 days are its diminution in 8 years. The year then becomes truly complete according to the station of the moon, and the station of the sun, which rise in the gates, which rise and set in them for 30 days. These are the leaders of the chiefs of the thousands, which are over all creation and over all the stars, with the 4 which are added and never separated from the place allotted them, according to the complete calculation of the year. And these serve 4 days, which are not calculated in the calculation of the year. Respecting them, men greatly err, for these luminaries truly serve, in the dwelling place of the world, 1 day in the 1st gate, 1 in the 3rd gate, 1 in the 4th gate, and 1 in the 6th gate. And the harmony of the world becomes complete every 364th state of it. For the signs, the seasons, the years, and the days, Uriel showed me, the angel whom Yahweh of glory appointed over all the luminaries of heaven in heaven and in the world, that they might rule in the face of the sky and appearing over the earth, become conductors of the days and the nights, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the ministers of heaven, which make their circuit with all the chariots of heaven. Thus Uriel showed me 12 gates open for the circuit of the chariots of the sun in heaven, from which the rays of the sun shoot forth. From these proceed heat over the earth, when they are opened in their stated seasons. They are for the winds and the ruach of the dew, when in their season they are opened in heaven at extremities. 12 gates I beheld in heaven at the extremities of the earth, through which the sun, moon, and stars, and all the works of heaven proceed at their rising and setting. Many windows also are open on the right and on the left. One window at a season grows extremely hot. So also are there gates from which the stars go forth as they are commanded, and in which they set according to their number. I saw likewise the chariots of heaven running in the world above to those gates in which the stars turn, which never set. One of these is greater than all, which goes round the whole world. And at the extremities of the earth I beheld 12 gates open for all the winds, from which they proceed and blow over the earth. 3 of them are open in the front of heaven, 3 in the west, 3 in the right side of heaven, and 3 on the left. The first 3 are those which are towards the east, 3 are towards the north, 3 behind those which are upon the left, towards the south, and 3 on the west. From 4 of them proceed winds of blessing and of health, and from 8 proceed winds of punishment, when they are set to destroy the earth, and the heaven above it, all its inhabitants, and all which are in the waters or on its dry land. The first of these winds proceeds from the gate termed the eastern, through the first gate on the east, which inclines southwards. From this goes forth destruction, drought, heat, and perdition. From the second gate, the middle one, proceeds equity. There issue from it rain, fruitfulness, health, and dew. And from the third gate northwards, proceed cold and drought. After these proceed the south winds through 3 principal gates. Through their first gate, which inclines eastwards, proceeds a hot wind. But from the middle gate proceed grateful odor, dew, rain, health, and life. From the third gate, which is westwards, proceed dew, rain, blight, and destruction. After these are the winds to the north, which is called the sea, from 3 gates. The 7th gate is on the east, inclining southwards. From this proceeds dew, rain, blight, and destruction. From the middle direct great gate proceed rain, dew, life, and health. And from the third gate, which is westwards, inclining towards the south, proceed mist, frost, snow, rain, dew, and blight. After these 4 are the winds to the west. From the first gate, inclining northwards, proceed dew, rain, frost, cold, snow, and chill. From the middle gate proceed rain, health, and blessing. And from the last gate, which is southwards, proceed drought, destruction, scorching, and perdition. The account of the 12 gates of the 4 quarters of heaven is ended. All their laws, all their punishment, and the health of them have I explained to you, my son, Methuselah. The first wind is called the eastern, because it is the first. The second is called the south, because Al Elyon there descends, and frequently there descends and is blessed forever. The western wind has the name of diminution, because there all the luminaries of heaven are diminished and descend. The fourth wind, which is named the north, is divided into 3 parts, one of which is for the habitation of man, another for the seas of water, with valleys and woods, rivers, shady places, and snow, and the third part, paradise. 7 high mountains I beheld, higher than all the mountains of the earth, from which frost proceeds, while days, seasons, and years depart and pass away. 7 rivers I beheld upon the earth, greater than all rivers, one of which takes its course from the west. Into a great sea its water flows. 2 come from the north to the sea, their waters flowing into the Erythraean Sea on the east. And with respect to remaining 4, they take their course in the cavity of the north. 2 to their sea, the Erythraean Sea, and 2 are poured into a great sea, where also it is said is a desert. 7 great islands I saw in the sea and on the earth, 7 in the great sea.